Holy smokes, I'm excited, everybody. We had a great response this week with our good friend, Dr. Octopus Perry, asking, why did you guys join this thing? Why are you a part of it? Will you please just share the message? And a huge reason of why I am here was part of the first interactions in the think tanks and getting to know this amazing digital nomad, as we say, because she is just an amazing human that just makes it all over this digital universe and then all over our physical world. She moves around and has amazing stories and is a rich friend. And I'm so grateful to have you today. So let me introduce to you Yoka Brouwer. Thanks for joining us, Yoka.
Hi there. How are you?
I am great. Thank you.
Good.
I couldn't do an audio check. Am I sounding okay to you?
Yes, you're a little bit soft for me, but I don't know whether that's because I'm going deaf.
Well, I could relate to a lot of that. Is that any better if I'm closer to the mic?
That's a lot better. Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll work that way.
Yeah.
So first of all, thanks for your time. Thanks for being here with us. When people first see this whole Octopus Movement thing, they may not understand what it means or what we're talking about even. So I guess hindsight, looking into this, who are you? And why did this even pique your interest, and why are you here?
Well, the thing is that I met Perry because I met Katie John first. And because we were both brains and in the human library. And then he showed me the thing with Perry, the interview. I thought, oh, that seems like a fun guy. I didn't even know he was an octopus or everything, like that. And then Perry interviewed me. And the questions he asked were, to me, quite to the point. And it was, I've been interviewed quite a lot. But to me, it was direct and it was personal. So I liked Perry. And so when he told me this idea from about octopus, one of the things I said, when you've been considered weird your whole life, this is the organization for you to belong to, because, and then I looked at what came through, and one of the things that really anybody can recognize that knows me is I'm a rule breaker.
Yeah.
Rules don't, like if they don't make sense, I won't follow them.
What are
So,
rules anyways, right?
well, there are some rules that make sense for me, okay? Not every
Sure.
rule. So, I think that what the octopus movement does is for a whole lot of people that have never learned to accept themselves or respect themselves,
Mm,
to give them a safe place to land. Now, I've always been very um, safe in my own space, so that's not why I went there, but I can see that it's important for a lot of people to have a place where even if they don't conform to everything that people think they should conform to, and they're still okay,
yeah.
it is a place where people accept each other. And sometimes I look at things and I go like, am I really an octopus? I mean, like, because I'm not only nonlinear, I'm sometimes pretty linear.
Right.
I mean, I was a computer programmer, for heaven's sakes. I mean, what's more linear than that?
Right.
I mean, you got to think different, but still. So, but the whole thing around it, to make a safe space for people that haven't always belonged, that that attracted me.
Have you done that before in your life previous to now? Or been a part of something that was
Oh gosh,
feeling the
I've been.
same?
Oh yeah, I have been a part of a whole lot of things, and of course, I mean, there are always things in every group that you belong to where, because I am a rule breaker and
Mm-hmm.
I am somebody that's very critical. Like in any group, there are things that you kind of go like, well, like, I wouldn't do it that way. But
Right.
I'm a person, I love people and I love to get involved in solving things. And so the most of the organizations that I have belonged to or still belong to are organizations that gives me a chance to do something with the knowledge that I have and put it, for the good of things.
Yeah. I like that. Um, I think I've been looking for groups like that. I've found maybe some touches, but um, not the same feeling I get here, where it doesn't matter the age, color, gender, where you are on this planet spinning around, every interaction, like you said, it does feel, I don't know. I think the word holistic can be overused these days, but it kind of feel
Organic.
organic. But it feels like
Yeah. Real.
mind, body, and spirit are honored in this place, no
Right.
matter how fucked up I am or whatever I've in my
Yeah.
past is there. Like nobody's looking there. Everybody's kind of saying, "Nah, where are you right this minute, right now?"
Right.
And that was that I really enjoy. That is
I do
really
too.
cool, and I think of all the people I've ever met, you're one of the most when I was present in your presence, you felt like the most present person. Like it made me feel like I was zoomed down to that point on Earth, and like wow, like how can that be? We had just met, and the comfort of being myself, and you were
Recognizing each other.
yeah, and you were comfortable being yourself, and it was
Right.
just wonderful. And the
Well,
cookies were great.
but see, the thing is, I think one word that we should also perhaps talk about is authentic. And within the octopus movement, there there is room to be authentic, because when you are your authentic self, you are being accepted. So it's not it's basically, it is a place where if you wouldn't dare be like that in the outside world, you can do it there.
Yeah, definitely. Is there anything that, as you've entered, has sort of made you think differently or expanded you in a different direction since you've been here?
Hmm.
Or maybe given you new ideas or new
Well, no, I
opportunity
mean,
or
I have seen different people, and different people always give me different ideas because exchanging things always makes you more open to different opinions, and the more people you get to know. For me, it is challenging in a way, challenging for myself to listen to people and to go like, here I think different, and yet I can see where the people are coming from. I respect where they're coming from,
mm,
and and it doesn't always change me, but it expands me.
I
Does
like
that make
that.
sense to you?
Yeah. I it sounds it sounds like a lot of fun. I think that is what I am looking for in interactions, and maybe I didn't have those words, but that expansiveness is a real joy when you get
Yeah.
outside of yourself and you maybe even get that chance to look back at yourself and go, "You're ridiculous. What are you doing?" And have a laugh, and and I don't think we can do that if we're just only experiencing life through our own eyes. And so, yeah, that is a lot of fun.
And let me tell you, at my age, I have a lot to look back at.
That is true. That is true. I feel like I have a lot of stories. I couldn't imagine if you could just start and just be recorded, you could just go for years on end with,
Well,
I
not
mean,
not I see. The thing is, I am not a very detailed person. I'm a big picture person.
got it.
So you wouldn't get a play by play description from me.
Mm,
My husband was one of those guys who had little chunks of information, and I'm one with big chunks. I mean, like,
yeah.
and if you don't understand it, I will go smaller, but my beginning point is big chunks.
Do you feel at this point in your life that um, looking back at all the relationships you've had and how those have changed you, when you enter a group like this and you look at new relationships, are you more cautious with people, or do you have a different radar for things, or do you feel you're just sort of like hands in the air? Let's try
I'm
anything.
absolutely less conscious
Mm,
and less cautious because I trust on my radar.
okay.
I, in general, I think, and that's of course having lived quite some time. I I think that and like, of course, don't forget that I was a psychotherapist for about 50 years.
Yeah.
I honestly feel that if there's people that want to, how would I want to say it, that would do things that I wouldn't agree with, I would find out pretty soon and I would deal with it. So I don't have to be cautious because I honestly believe that everything that ever happens in our lives is there to teach us something.
I think if as you get to a mature level, it certainly is easier to understand that when you fight it,
Yeah.
it's not helpful.
Yeah.
you know. Um, I'm gonna pull up here somehow I lost the page here. I wanted to bring up our those 10 questions of how to be a part of this global movement, and it's just Perry's landing page on the website. Uh,
Remember what I said? I'm not that much of a rule thing.
you don't have to follow any of these rules. This,
Good.
this is
Thank you.
only the only reason for doing this is to be conversational,
Good.
and what I've gained from simply knowing you is is the expansiveness, that you shared with me. In all honesty, you really helped me deal with some ideas around death and grieving, and help me be more present as a human. So um, I
Thank
think
you.
I think it's really important to say, like I wouldn't have met you, I wouldn't have known to meet you had it not been for this movement and the
Right,
the small groups we've had. So
right.
I'm not getting technical, and I am certainly not a rule person or a systems guy anymore. So this was
Takes one
just
to know one, huh?
right. This was, his landing page, and these were the top, or his reasons, 10 reasons why you would join the movement now. This is just anybody looking. Um, and this first part, be a part of a global community of nonlinear thinkers committed to creating positive change in this world. Um, you already said you have done that before. Is
I
this
like that.
doing that?
Yep.
Is it already doing that?
Oh, absolutely, it is. Look at what the Octopus Movement is achieving. It is bringing people together. It has people talk to each other. It has
Hmm.
people um, looking at what the diversities are and accepting those. Oh, absolutely. The movement is doing that.
And when looking back, in the idea of growing in a better, authentic way, is there anything more inclusive that we could be just in the beginning, or things you've seen? Because, like you said, you have different ideas, and hey, Perry's not here, so we can tell him what we want to do. We're running the ship. This is our show.
He's not here anyhow, so we can do what we want to,
He'll listen anyways.
and we'll love him anyhow.
Absolutely. So
No,
honestly though, what do
I
you
think
see?
what's happening right now, I think is already very inclusive. You don't want to overload people either, because
Yeah,
then how authentic is it?
true. How could it grow into more individuals, or how could more individuals grow into the community? You think, even if there's not something that exists that could exist there.
It's already growing so much. Let's not push it, because if you grow too fast, you're losing it. Because
I
I think Perry is overworked already. This is okay the way it's
Yeah,
going to me.
and I totally agree with that. And I think in my mind, when I say the word growth to you, I don't actually mean a number of human beings as part of it. I mean, as being part of the movement, how can I grow into the community? Just one person, maybe that's already there, that doesn't understand what's going on. I mean, if you haven't been a part of a think tank and some of these other Zooms and things, you wouldn't even know what you're missing. Like,
Right.
I mean, the brain lunch thing blew my mind. Like, there were days that I was in tears. There were days I left just writing. I mean, definite. It was, and I remember when Perry was like, "Hey, I have this idea for a brain lunch." And what the hell's a brain lunch? I don't know, but I'm all in, right? That was kind of what I learned as being part of this. For me, my growth into it was just saying yes to whatever next zany thing pops up. Like this. This was random. We just started doing these conversations, and all of a sudden everyone came out of the woodwork and was like, "Yeah, I want to do this." And so I'm like, "Oh, well, if everybody wants to do it, I'm going to set the table and just show up." I don't know what's going to be here tomorrow. I don't know what today's
Nope.
show was going to be. All I wanted to do was spend time with you and have an excuse to hype my buddies' movement that I feel a part of. And so
Yep.
I all of that's certainly happening. And not to be linear, but number two, because I think this is important, especially at your age, with your repertoire of experience and network of humanity and everything. Does the movement leverage your unique skills and interests and experiences to make, do you feel that is accessible, and is that part of it for you and for everyone else?
No, I don't know that I do understand this second thing. Are you talking? Do I feel that I can use my skills within the movement, or can people use? Can I use the skills of other people in the movement?
Yeah, I think both is important in relationships, right? So is that happening? Hi, Perry.
Is Perry there?
He's not on with us. He's watching.
Oh, he tells us that he loves us both.
Yeah.
Well, mutual admiration society. We love you too.
Absolutely.
I think that sometimes I could add more, but then at the same token, and that sounds strange, I'm not somebody to toot my horn, that, like to, because that doesn't make sense to me either. So, and it sounds so arrogant when I say, with a whole lot of things, I've been there, done that. And yet I still get nuances. But if you say, do I feel like I change because of it? Of course I change, because I am a living thing. Living things always change. Does that make sense to you?
Absolutely. Definitely. And there's no right or wrong answer, because I think we all look at, I mean, look, some people only look at skills as what is a dollar amount in return, or an exchange of, energy and time.
See, I'm past that.
Right. You're not looking for either of those things.
No,
but
I don't need recognition. I don't need money. I don't need a job. I mean,
right.
like the only thing at my age that I still feel I can do is put the knowledge that I have gathered in my 82 years and put it into service. And that's all I can do. I mean, I'm not going to work with it.
So, if I was tooting your horn on your behalf and said, "Hey, if I toot your horn and I find all these gems that fly out, what would I be missing if I was starting this thing from scratch, and you were my business partner, and I didn't know, like, that I haven't seen in your bag of tricks and
Whoa,
wisdom?"
that's a very trick question. Because basically what you're saying is, I don't know how to toot your horn. Please toot your horn.
Well, it's not. I'm not saying.
No.
I'm saying you kind of have to, because how else would I know?
I
Like,
know.
you're not a psychologist. You're way deeper than that. It's like if someone only knew that your former husband was a chemical engineer, they would have missed this whole other half where something happened, right? Like, there's all these complexities to us, and a skill set is not necessarily your job.
Let me put it to you this way. Perhaps that makes sense. I started out as a computer programmer because I was in systems. I am really good in looking at something, determining what's wrong, and then figuring out how to solve it. And then I loved computers, because a computer is the only thing that is limited by the person that's programming it. It can do anything that you program it to do. So that, to me, was absolutely fascinating. But I love people. So I thought, okay, perhaps I should go work with people. And I went into the health field. And people said, that's a big change. And I said, no. I mean, I still was looking at what's wrong, how can we solve it, and then help people solve it. And then I found out while I was doing that quite often that I got into psychological things with people, and I felt I did not have the knowledge or the right to do that. So I did a
Mm.
degree in psychology because I kind of figured if I'm doing that, I might as well get the knowledge to do that. And then as a psychotherapist, really, I look at things, I try to help people find out what's wrong and then help them fix it. So basically, if you were my business partner, you would know that I'm a very analytical person, that I look at things and that I try to find out where they can work better
Hmm.
in a way that serves everybody.
It also sounds like you have the gift of learning.
Oh,
Um,
learning is my highest criteria.
it almost feels like all of those are way secondary because if you know how to learn,
Yeah,
then like your brain is helping you discover the challenges. Like
yeah,
that's your unique chipset, right?
yeah,
And then you've got this to follow that up.
yeah.
That's really neat. Absolutely. It's almost like you hone that in. It could be like X-ray vision. You know.
Not that, but yeah,
Yeah.
it is something that because I love people, I also, and I think that you'll find that with a lot of octopi, we're very empathic and we are very, like that's something that we can do quite well
Mm-hmm.
is put ourselves in the place of another person and and then find out how we can help them utilize that for themselves.
Yeah. I think that in this era we're in, it's pretty amazing that a lot of people don't understand how easy it is to learn and how like it's just gotten dumb easy in the last 20 years. Um, and and maybe it's just because there's too much input and people don't know how to navigate and like, oh, if you need to learn, you actually need to turn some things off and open up some space for yourself to do those things. Like, and so, I hope that this is just our first conversation about learning because, maybe there's um, a whole opportunity to sit back and go, because I'm similar in that way. I've not learned full careers like you have, which is wild. But I have, I just keep going at one thing to
Right.
another and have a true joy in it. But there's people that could learn, like if you and I have the discussion of how we get there, I'm going to learn how to learn better through how you learn. And then it's probably going to open up the door for another person who's
Well,
stuck.
I think though that learning also has something to do with self-awareness.
Yeah.
The better you know yourself, the more you accept that other people know themselves and you gain from them because you respect the fact that you yourself know what you're about and you respect the fact that other people know what they're about.
Right. And if you're self aware, then you understand that you can learn anything and
Absolutely.
you just need to slow it down enough for
Yeah.
however you're made. Like each person learns at their pace in a different way
Yeah.
and yeah, take it in chunks.
But
Interesting.
sometimes it's fun because I'm a very fast thinker.
Mm.
And quite often, and that's because I've been a trainer also my whole life. So I have learned to calm my thinking down because it's easier for somebody that's not a fast thinker, like for you to go as a fast thinker, go to slow thinking and then take the person with you, than for a person that's a slow thinker to go to fast thinking.
Mm.
But it is such a joy once in a while to find somebody like Katie John that's even faster thinking because that's a joy. That's really, that's so much fun because it goes chuck, 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 chuck. And it's great following it. And, so sometimes it's nice to just find somebody that thinks as fast as you do, or
Yeah.
faster.
I think that's definitely been the fun part of all the think tanks where,
Yep.
there's no wrong answer. And I've always thought it was going to get a lot more weird, but it
Really?
really, yeah, it
Why?
really, I don't know. I guess coming into it, I always expected there'd be, maybe 2 or 3% of total wild cards in the room that Perry has to deal with. And like, it might, and I think only once we really hit a real big narcissistic moment where Perry dumped somebody out of a meeting, aside from that,
Really? Oh, and I wasn't there.
I know it was pretty great. The guy
Too,
was,
too bad.
he was wanting it to be his meeting and it just wasn't working. And, um, some people even looked at that situation. You could see they were a little uncomfortable, but what Perry did was he made it safe. He made it a safe place again instantly. And he opened the floor back up and everyone started talking. And so, uh, you know, he played the
It
security
was a
guard
learning
for
moment.
us and we all learned from it. But,
Yep.
aside from that, every one of them has just been, you know, um, just really neat. It's really wonderful to just expand your mind with other humans.
Yep.
Um, and what I really love is the neurodivergence,
Yep.
and being around, people that, um, are really wanting to have a voice. And it's like you can kind of tell some of them haven't ever had that yet. And sometimes by the second interaction, you can see them coming out of their shell,
Yeah. Yeah.
and talking more. And I really love seeing some of our friends that deal with autism and being in a big room of people they don't know and then speaking up and
Yep.
um, or people speaking and then fumbling and then okay, off to the next thing. There's room for every person, and it just that's so cool. Um,
Fantastic.
and the thinking side of it, I think, um, is the fun part too, because yeah, everybody, now that you say that, does have this little bit different empathetic build to them, and
Yep.
maybe that's a gift of the neurodivergence, and there's just other frequencies we can feel,
Yep.
other things we sense, because we spend time in different places than the world would, right?
Right.
Which opens your eyes to other things, you know. And when you put all of that together, it's going to create this kind of really cool, different gel, And so, can you believe it's been such a short time? And it does feel like it's kind of a big thing we're part of. Yeah.
Well, absolutely. I mean, because how many people were there a year ago? I don't know. I mean, Barry would know, but I don't.
Yeah.
But I mean, now look at it. We're all over the world.
I know it.
It's
I'm really
fantastic.
looking forward to. I'm very close. Like when I saw you, I wasn't moving very well. I wore a neck brace, and my daughter was driving me. And now I can move my head, and I'm healing. And so pretty soon I'm going to be able to put a backpack on and get on a plane. And I'm really looking
Come.
forward to the interaction. You were the
Right.
first person I hung out with in like,
Really?
oh yeah, in
I was lucky.
a year and a half or so. Because we were in the desert of
Right.
Washington
Yeah.
State in the middle of nowhere, and
Well,
and
I was lucky.
it was yeah,
It was
I
fun.
it was such an honor, that you carved out your schedule too, and
Yeah.
my daughter really enjoyed hanging out
Yes.
with you too. It
I
was
did enjoy her.
it was such a wonderful experience,
Yep.
you know, and I'm again, to bring this full circle, I'm grateful for the time and your effort that you've put into this, because there's no pay, there's nothing other than your own energy you're putting in, and whatever energy you're getting back, and I have received from you, just by you being in rooms, and just by your presence, and so thanks for just showing up. That's really important, it wouldn't be a movement, it would be a Facebook group, right? And it's way bigger than the Facebook group and anything else. I'm not even really on the Facebook much, and I'm touched by, I don't know, seems like hundreds of people now that I'm
Right.
bumping into every week,
Yep.
and it makes me feel like I've got a little neighborhood of, fellow freaks and
Family.
geeks out there. Yeah, and family. Yeah. Did you see the background? This is Emmanuel's, one of his things that it says "Save the Weirdos" with the Octopus Movement. So as we sign off, I'll bring us off the screen with a little music,
Okay.
so that we can share. Oh, hey Han, thanks for stopping
Hi, hon.
by.
You made
Um,
it.
oh, it's great, and thanks to everyone else that's watching. We're just showing up to share our story of being part of the Octopus Movement, and the fun we've had in this community. And so, Yoka, you are a blessing to me, my friend. I want to thank you for your time. Don't go away. I'm going to pull you off the screen here. We're going to play a music so everybody can see Emmanuel's photo. I'll play us a little outro. Hang on, I'll be right with you. Hey, everybody, thanks so much for being here. That was Yoka Brouwer, world traveler, digital nomad, and my friend. And I'm just grateful for you. Thank you for whoever is hanging out. Thanks for those who are in the comments. And if you're not an octopus, you can be too. Check it out at the octopusmovement.org. This is a photo from our fellow Octopus Movement friend, Emmanuel.